Nick, I have a really important question for you today. Should I be taking that pension buyout now? Rising interest rates will cause lump sum pension buyouts to be significantly lower in 2023. That has a lot of pre-retirees wondering if they should be considering an early retirement. So first, how do those interest rates affect those lump sum offers?
Right. So it's going to work in an inverse relationship. As interest rates go up, typically the value of your lump sum pension is going to decrease.
Okay.
Basically, what they're doing is they're discounting your future cash flows, from there, saying that you're going to be able to get a higher interest payment with a lesser amount of money to be able to even that out over a longer period of time. So definitely, sitting down and reviewing that right now, does it make sense, whether your year end is a calendar year end on your pension, or does it come in the first couple months of the year? Reviewing, retiring before that year end date of the pension, or possibly after, depending on what the interest rate change is for your pension.
Right. And that is the $1 million question, right? Especially
Right.
because the Fed is probably going to raise interest rates again. So if I were considering a pension buyout for 2023, should I be considering moving up my retirement now to 2022?
Could possibly be that. You have to look at, not only what that lump sum value is going to be, but some other factors as well. What your expenses are going to be, what your, future plan is, inside of retirement. Are you going to be living off of these assets from a younger age? Or are you going to be, looking at that, well into your 80s and 90s, potentially. So yes, you definitely want to sit down and review. Does it make sense, what you're giving up? But you're also giving up earning power as well.
Mm.
Maybe you wanted to continue to work for several more years, and that might offset, some of those pension lump sum decreases, that may be happening with a rising interest rate.
Okay. I have a few more questions because, again, this is such a complicated issue. And I know when I'm considering my retirement date, my lump sum shouldn't be the only consideration, right? So, what else needs to be part of that puzzle when I'm trying to figure out the best time to retire?
Right. So for every single person, this is their own unique answer, to
Hmm.
that question. It's not something that says every person with a pension needs to retire at 55, at 60, at 65. It's got to be specific to you, So not only are you looking at, what that lump sum is going to be, like I said, just a little bit ago, what your future earning power is it something that you want to continue to work? Do you have other large expenses that you want to have paid off, before retirement? With the rising interest rate, we also have, some variable loans possibly with individuals, that they want to get those paid off before those interest rates get higher.
Hmm.
And to do that, with future earnings, may be a better option for them. So we might want to delay that as well.
Okay. So, how will the rising interest rates affect me if I've chosen monthly annuity payments?
Right. So this is a little bit different, to where the interest rates don't necessarily impact you. All of that risk, tends to stay with the company. So they
Hmm.
still have to make, ongoing contributions on your behalf. Your monthly annuity payment that you're going to be receiving, from your pension is typically based off of your age, your years of service, and the salary that you have. So it's typically a fixed formula, that the company has instituted with your defined benefit plan or your pension. That interest rates really don't impact the individual side of it as much as they do, the employer side.
Okay. Now, just to further muddy the waters a little bit here, we should remind everybody that retiring into a bear market, which we are in right now, presents its own risks. We've talked before about sequence of returns risk.
Right. So now all of a sudden that you receive this lump sum payment, you're going into a market, or possibly, already into that market of, negative returns on the front end
Right.
of a retirement. Those negative returns, while you're in your accumulation phase, aren't necessarily a big deal. But as we go into retirement, we start taking distributions off of those pension assets. Now all of a sudden it leaves less money and less shares, of an investment that you have for that market to build back up. So we've got to be very careful of that, going into a bear market here.
Yeah. This is a lot to consider, Nick. We
It
tackle
is.
some really tough topics. This one seems like quite a big mouthful to bite off today. If somebody would like to talk through their own personal situation and, again, figuring out what's best for them, what's the best way to reach you?
Right. So looking at that, first of all, it's not something to where you decided last year that, hey, I didn't want to retire at this time. You've got to look at this each and every year.
Yeah.
And what's changed in your situation and what's changed, in the government situation, interest rates, all of that kind of stuff. So I highly recommend sitting down and going on a one-on-one,
Yeah.
conversation that we could set up here in our office. You can reach us at www.eikenberryretirement.com. You can schedule an appointment online, or you can give us a call at 937-498-1128. And we can have that conversation about your pension planning.
Yeah, so important. All right, Nick, thank you.
Hey, thanks, Erin.